Hey y'all, it's Lonnie and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything mom life, wife life, kid life, and homeschool. If you are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for always interacting with me and my videos and for sharing my videos with your friends. You guys are awesome. This video is a tag from Tamra over at Watch the Rights. She is a fairly new YouTubing mama and she is a seasoned homeschooler. And this is the fall 2019 Seasoned Homeschooler Tag. Okay, y'all, so you know I am not a seasoned homeschooler. We are brand new at homeschooling, but I think I'll be able to answer these questions and to share some information with you guys. And if you are a homeschooling mama or dad, make sure you go ahead and do this tag. Help some people out there who are trying to make the decision whether they want to homeschool or not. These are some pretty cool questions and usually questions that people ask when they are researching homeschooling. So let's get into it. Question number 1, what time does your homeschool day begin and end? Our homeschool day kind of varies. We typically get started maybe around like 9 or 9:30. And then depending on what we have on our schedule to accomplish for the day, usually dictates when we finish. So normally we may finish around like 1 or 2, and that's including our lunch break. Some days it goes a little longer depending on what activities we have. We may not end until 3 or 4. So our schedule is very flexible and we do have a lot of new activities that we've started doing. So we're kind of trying to find our groove on when the day starts and stops, especially on heavy activity days. How is your school year / calendar scheduled? So we started in August, early August, and we're scheduled to end in May. I wouldn't call myself a year-round homeschooler, but I don't foresee us taking a large break in the summer, maybe a couple of weeks. So the way I have it planned out is we are in school for 5 weeks, and then we take a break for a week. We're in school for 5, take a break for a week. This gives us the time to reset, kind of explore some topics maybe that we didn't get a chance to explore during our little 5-week session. And it keeps us re-energized. So if we go for a long time, we kind of get drained, we get stressed out, there's just too much. So the break is an awesome reset. My calendar, this is how I have my calendar set up for 2019-2020 school year. So we started in early August, went for 5 weeks, we had a break for a week, and so on and so forth. So we are coming up on our second break of the school year, and we're slated to end the last week of May, right along with regular school. We may roll right into 3rd grade. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty flexible, go with the flow. If you are new to this, I would say don't try to mimic the public school calendar. Make a calendar that works for you. If you know that you guys travel for 3 months out of the year, then you need to schedule your schooling around that. If you want to schedule year round, go ahead and do that. So in the summer, I plan to do a lot of review. We usually have a ton of summer activities, so we'll be doing that and then slowly kind of creep into 3rd grade. I'll plan it for August, but if she's ready to do it sooner, then we'll just jump right in and keep going. All right, question number 3. What are your top 3 educator resources? Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, my top 3 as of right now, and I'm sure throughout time they will fluctuate. Top 3 right now, Khan Academy. I love Khan Academy. It does a great job of teaching math skills and assessing those math skills. And we don't really test, so it gives me a good idea of where she is and what skills she needs to work on. So Khan Academy really helps me do that. Another reason I like Khan Academy is that you can choose what grade and what skills you want your child to work on. So maybe they are ready for, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade math, but there were some skills in the prior grade that they weren't so strong on. You can weave those in there so that it's kind of like a review. So it's really cool. My other resource is Pinterest. I love Pinterest for everything. It gives you tons of cool ideas. It leads you to all kind of awesome blogs and all kinds of stuff. So I really, really like Pinterest as a resource. Okay, and my third resource, it's kind of a cheat because it's kind of two resources. It's the library, which offers amazing selections of books, movies, documentaries, all kinds of things. Also a ton of free classes. We take a lot of free classes at the library, but also with that, there is an app that I like to use called Libby. I shared this app with you guys in the Plan With Me video. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below so you can see how I use books to plan out a unit. But this app, Libby, so I love this because sometimes we don't have time to make it to the library. So I can just go right on this app. I can pick the book that we want and check it out. And I have it right here on my iPad. So I think that is super awesome, especially if you're a family that travels and you don't want to take a ton of books. The Libby app is something that can be very, very useful. Khan Academy, Pinterest, the library / the Libby app. Okay, question 4. What are your top tips for record keeping? So my top tips for record keeping is, number 1, make sure you stay on top of it as best you can. If you get behind in record keeping, it can get very overwhelming. Yeah, so make sure that you stay on top of it. There's no definite right or wrong way to do your record keeping, but you do want to make sure that you keep a record of what your child is doing, how they're doing in that subject, any extracurricular activities. So I keep records 2 ways. The first way is really simple. So I take a lot of pictures and videos and I put that into a Google document, and I might, type the date and the activity. I might type out a sentence or 2 about something we learned there or whatever the case may be. So I have this visual record. The second way that I keep records is very simple. It's very old school. I have my teacher notebook, and inside I just write down each week the date and the activities we do. Sometimes I don't fill out everything, and that's okay as long as you don't have, weeks and months missing, okay? So I just write down the day, write down what activities we have done, okay? Don't get too overwhelmed with your records, but make sure that you're doing whatever is required by your state. Question number 6. What advice would you give to prospective and new homeschooling families? Whew. Since I'm still pretty new at this, I would say the best advice is to keep researching and to build your homeschool tribe, build your circle. So number 1, if you are thinking about homeschooling, make sure you really research what homeschooling entails. Make sure you research the different kinds of homeschooling. You don't have to put a label on yourself as to what kind of homeschooler you will be, like an unschooler or Charlotte Mason or traditional. Do whatever you want to do, but make sure you research that thing and that will work for your family. The other piece of advice I would give is to build your homeschool tribe. Really go outside of your comfort zone and start meeting families, especially if you are like me and you're solo schooling, it's just you and your kid. You really need to get out and start meeting people and making those connections. Okay, question number 7. What is something that surprised you about homeschooling? Kind of 2 things surprised me. Number 1 is about myself. So something that a lot of people say is, girl, I do not have the patience to homeschool. That was me. I didn't feel like I had the patience to homeschool. But luckily and thankfully, God has graced me with that patience. So now it's not even a thought like I'm going to run out of patience. It rarely happens. And as you get used to it, it's not a situation where you feel like you are going to get super frustrated all the time or run out of patience all the time. And that's something that a lot of people worry about, is their short patience. It will work itself out. It'll work itself out. The other thing that surprised me is that you really don't need that much time. You really can get a lot of things done, and your kids can master skills in a few hours a day. They don't need to be sitting down for 7 hours. you can get your work done, including interactive activities, in a couple of hours. And it's like, what? I didn't have to teach you this for 6 weeks. You get it after a week. You get it after a lesson. So it's really awesome to see how rapidly that they can actually grow. That's pretty cool. Question number 8, in what ways have you been challenged with homeschooling? You know, it's a good question. Okay, for homeschooling, I would say my challenge is a unique one because I am in a blended family. So we have 1 kid who's homeschooling and 2 kids who are in public school. So the challenge has been kind of finding that happy medium between everyone having their own separate schooling experience and doing some things together. So my kids who are in public school, they do like to do some of the homeschool activities. So I have to remember to try to save some of those activities so that they can participate in them at the same time. That has been a challenge because sometimes I don't want to wait until they get home, or I don't want to wait until a day where we have them. So that has been a challenge, but not that big of a deal. We're figuring out how to work it out. Question number 9, how do you make time for self-care and what are your favorite self-care activities? How do I make time for self-care? This is one that I am personally battling with and struggling with. I always have, though, even when I was not homeschooling. What I'm doing now is allotting myself a day. So at least 1 day a week, it is my husband's responsibility to take the kids wherever they leave for the whole day. And then I get the day to myself to do whatever it is that I would like to do or need to do. So like this past weekend, I was super exhausted. So he took the kids out for a whole day and I slept. I had to catch up on some sleep. But sometimes I'll go shopping. What are some of my favorite self-care activities? Okay, my favorite self-care activity is going to get a massage. I used to be really adamant about going to get a massage once a month. I haven't been so much on that in the past couple months, but I do need to get back to that. So getting a massage, going to the beach or some body of water, a pool, whatever, that really helps relax me. Reading is also something that I really enjoy that relaxes me. And so massage, pool, read. Okay, and the bonus question is, what about socialization? What about it? What about it? A lot of people think that homeschool kids are going to be weirdo homeschool kids. If you and your kids are not staying in the house 24/7, you are going to be fine. They will have lots of opportunities to interact with other children, with adults, with people from all walks of life. They'll learn how to talk to strangers. They'll learn how to talk to adults. They'll learn how to be gentle around little kids. So that's not really a thing. It's kind of one of those homeschool myths that's floating around out there. Socialization is not a problem with homeschoolers. Not at all. Unless you guys are stuck in the house 24 hours a day, not involved in anything, then okay, yeah. But if you're getting out of the house, you really have nothing to worry about. Take this from a former public school teacher. Yes, your child has awesome opportunities in public school to socialize, but they also have a lot of time where they have to sit and be quiet in order to get the lesson, because there are 30 plus kids in the class. They can't be social all the time. So their social time is kind of limited and in pockets, you know, like lunch and recess and things like that. Whereas with homeschool, your social interaction may be limited if you're home, but if you're getting out, there's no problem. There's no problem. All right, guys, those are the answers to my 2019 Seasoned Homeschooler Tag. Even though I'm not a seasoned homeschooler, I think I did all right. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoy the content, and share this video with a friend. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.